In the wake of the decision that Joe Biden just announced, President Joe Biden, that he will not be running for re-election any longer. We discussed that in a different segment. It's quite the decision, historic, and he has had an extremely successful presidency. And even with that, he's deciding to place the country above himself, believing this is the best path to defeating Trump. And for that, he should get much credit. And something fun is happening now that he's endorsed Kamala Harris, which is, you're going to see. But first, good attacks of hers against Trump back when she was running for the Democratic nomination for president in 2020 are being recirculated. So I have a fantastic Resurfaced ad of hers that gives a sense of what a Kamala Harris versus Trump matchup would look like in terms of messaging on the Democratic side. And then the other thing, and I'll show you a video that's just brutal that was reposted, is attacking Trump over his age and his cognitive situation. No longer can an attack be levied at the Democratic side, so it makes the attack against Trump about his brain turning to mush that much more effective. But it's also funny because people are immediately posting. For example, before getting to this Kamala Harris video, David Pagman said, "Is the oldest presidential nominee in American history, Donald Trump, really what this country needs right now?" Which is, it's funny, okay? Because you can just see the shift post this announcement from Biden. But before going into the brain-related things, here's an ad that Kamala Harris's campaign put out during the 2020 election, again, when she was running for that Democratic nomination for president. And it does get me pretty pumped. I do want to say that I understand she's not the official nominee yet. I'm just, from my understanding of the Democratic Party, I'm just pretty certain now that Biden's endorsed her and called for unity, the people, I'm sure some voters will say, no, we want an open convention. I'm already hearing that. We want to pick somebody else. But I don't think any of the prominent people who presumably could challenge Kamala Harris for the nomination are going to want that for the party or the country. And I'm sure the Gavin Newsoms, the Gretchen Whitmers, the Josh Shapiros, etc. will probably unite around Kamala Harris pretty quickly. That's just my speculation, so that's why we're going down this road so immediately. But this is a fantastic ad.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your next president, there's really only one. Kamala.
There it is. Don't tell me that doesn't get you pretty ready to go out there and explain to people that contrast. And that was made before Trump became a convicted felon, a civilly liable rapist, an insurrectionist, etc. By the way, you had Adam on X posting this, prosecutor versus convicted felon. Kamala Harris having that prosecutorial background really adds to that contrast. John Idarola said, it's just too good. Donald Trump's accelerating brain rot is about to look even worse. And I'm just saying Trump should be going to the restroom where he shouldn't, okay, in his pants, over this matchup, if indeed it plays out to be this. Again, it's all happening now, so I don't know how certain logistically it is. It feels certain. If that changes, we'll do more discussion about what contentious open primary or convention would look like. But right now it seems party leaders would unite around Kamala Harris, so that's why I'm going under that assumption. And Trump should be terrified of going up against her in general and on a debate stage. And that I'm really looking forward to. And we're already seeing in the reactions from a lot of right-wing media, and I say again, I'll give you so many examples over the coming days as we get more of this, but it does seem there's some nervousness there. Because I understand that the right-wing media echo chamber is going to do with it what it did with Biden and do that to Kamala Harris, as they've already sort of been doing to her, and just push out all sorts of stuff. We're already hearing some vile rhetoric about her that is very unjustified from these outlets. But still, I think one of the major things for a lot of Americans going against Biden was not his record. Because when you talk about his record with people love that stuff. He's done a great job. And a lot of Americans really don't like Trump. I should say, understandably so. That's what I was going for. But a lot of people did have this lack of motivation because of age-related concerns. And we've made the case, despite that, using facts. But now that big concern evaporates. And I know other concerns are going to be pushed out by right-wing media. But I think the strength of Biden's record hopefully will carry over to the advocacy of Kamala Harris and those advocating on behalf of democracy and common sense governance. Millions of people every single week watch this show who are not subscribed. Please, if you're one of those people, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's easy. It's free. I appreciate it so much. Back to the video. So with that being said, let's take a quick break from that discussion to watch this Midas Touch video that just brutally, more insensitively than I'm used to making these jokes, but we gotta go here, okay? I'm being forced into it. Jaden over there is forcing me into it. So I'm gonna have to play this for you, and it's talking about the brain of Trump, which all of a sudden is seeming to become much more of a discussion.
And my stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, "Sir, don't dignify it with a rebuttal."
Have you been noticing peculiar behavior recently in someone you know?
Carried out by
Someone who mixes fiction and reality?
the late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
Perhaps someone of advanced age you have known for years.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable, Venezuela.
Of course, we all have our goofs. But consistently odd behavior can be a sign of frontotemporal dementia, a degenerative disease of the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain that dramatically impairs cognitive function. And there are some key signs to look out for, like slurring words,
The failing New York Times by anonymous, really anonymous.
struggling to find the correct words is another sign.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges of the investigation.
You may also notice someone veering into incoherent ideas, detached from reality.
You know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Or an inability to complete simple sentences.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
Other notable symptoms include impaired motor function, such as a wavering limb, and decreased balance, often accompanied by a signature lean or arched stance. If someone you know is demonstrating several or all of these symptoms, they are seriously unwell. As a matter of safety, they must be relieved of critical responsibilities and disqualified from any position of authority. Remember, frontotemporal dementia is a degenerative disease.
Right, so you get it. We're going to be hearing more of that in the coming days and weeks. And I'm not here to BS ya. Okay, I get that there's something, what's the word? Notable, I'll just say, okay? I'm willing to take note of how some people will have newfound interest in the age of the two candidates. Totally. But also, I think we deserve to go out there and say some of the things about Trump with some evidence that we've heard right-wing media put not just emphasis on, like justified emphasis, making sure the president's competent and being concerned post-debate, all that, not just emphasis, unbelievable, inconceivable, disproportionate emphasis on Biden's cognitive efficacy, while ignoring issues with Trump and ignoring every other important policy subject ever. Not talking at all about the successful policy record, the governance of Biden, only talking about that to try to hurt him politically, right? So if they want to play that game, we're down now. Okay, let's go have that conversation. And of course, because we're dedicated to honesty, we've been having that conversation for some time as well, in a justified way. But now the age, this person's too old, this, that, and the other thing applies to Trump above his competition. And I did notice in Trump's discussion, he indicated, we plan to run against Biden, but then here we go, but it's fine if someone else is the nominee because we can beat them too, which is what he has to say. But the amount of work that has gone into, the amount of lies that have been woven into the fabric of Americans' perception of Biden to hinder his reelection bid, that took time. And right-wing media doesn't have the time to thoughtfully weave that into the minds of a lot of Americans. Because to be clear, we're not talking about MAGA folks, people who plug their brain into Fox News as so many Americans do, unfortunately. That's not who I'm referencing. They're going to vote for Trump or they're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Okay. But what happens, and we don't talk enough about this, is that you sort of have a ripple effect where, sure, Fox News directly misinformed, and I refer to Fox News as a representation of a bunch of right-wing media and different people, but they misinform certain Americans. But then there's this ripple effect where then just in discussion, in the casual conversation about politics, ideas are perpetuated to larger groups of people than just those who loyally watch right-wing media. And that's how you get some of these narratives, like crime is spiking when it's plummeting. Like some of the false perceptions that people have had about Biden. Like Biden crushed energy production when we're seeing record energy production under him. And that would take time that these outlets don't have. And that's really exciting. They planned this whole machine around Biden, and now it's going to be someone else, likely Kamala Harris. And I also don't know how to say this exactly perfectly, but we'll just say some of the vile places we've already seen them go, and that they'll definitely go towards even more now that Kamala Harris is the presumptive nominee. I think that actually turns off a lot of Americans. When they do this whole, she would be a DEI president. What? One of the most qualified people we've had, district attorney, attorney general, senator, vice president. Can you be more qualified to be president? Huh? DEI. And then, I don't even want to repeat what we heard this right-wing commentator say recently about her, but very vile relating to her race. And that type of stuff, I think, actually turns off a lot of Americans and might motivate them to give Kamala Harris a shot. Because if that's your best attack, get ready. You're going to lose. All right? That's my message to MAGA. Either think of more thoughtful attacks, maybe you don't have them, or get prepared to lose. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to get extra content daily and support the work that we do, you can do that by clicking the join button below.